Hey guys, I finally made it. I finally am going to go see Spider-Man Far From Home. I've had like 3 different opportunities. Too long, too involved to tell right now. Plus, we're here and it's like 7:45 now, and that's when the movie starts, and we already bought the ticket, so we have no option. So we got to get going. But Kevin is here with me. In just a few seconds, we'll be right back to let you know what we think about Spider-Man Far From Home. See you later. Bye. Hey guys, I just got done watching the film, the Spider-Man, the Far From Home, and to be honest with you, it wasn't that bad. Basically, you got Mysterio, who is probably one of Spider-Man's most dated villains, and what I mean by dated, I mean most of the villains you can take and modernize to the modern era. Mysterio was a disgruntled, out-of-works special effects artist, and back in the 60s and 70s, it was more practical effects. Nowadays, we all know that the effects are done after the principal photography is done, and it's done mostly in computer. So it's harder to bring that character into the current age, the here and now. So to be able to make this villain kind of relevant is kind of a hard feat to do, and I thought they did a really adequate job in doing that with the story that they gave it. Basically, we don't have just Mysterio, but we have a team behind this Mysterio, and that's the way that they get around that. And I thought they did a really good job at that, and there were some pretty good surprises throughout the film that I really did enjoy. There were a couple really awkward scenes in that movie. First off, the first half of the movie was basically just, it was the Peter show, and it kind of irritated me. I didn't go see this movie for Peter Parker. I went to see this movie for Spider-Man, and throughout the first half of the movie was kind of boring to me. I thought we got more of Peter Parker than we did of Spider-Man, and I understand that we had to have that human element. Peter Parker, or Spider-Man, was definitely a lot of Peter Parker, you know, in what they deemed Parker luck. And that's hard-coded into that character, so we have to have that. But for me, my feelings, I thought we got a little too much of that in the first half, and it kind of made it boring. There was a whole bus sequence in there that was really extremely awkward, and I didn't think that it was needed at all. It just after that bus sequence, I didn't feel right about this. But the second half of the movie totally won me back. I thought the story finally kicked in. We started getting more action sequences, and I thought it did well at redeeming itself after that. The movie itself is getting a good solid 93% on the Rotten Tomato meter. I'm not going to grade it that well. I didn't enjoy it as much as a lot of other people are enjoying it. But then again, I am also trying not to be as hypercritical of these movies as I usually am. So I definitely want to give it an 85. It was definitely worth a watch, but I didn't like it as much as other people seem to be accepting it at the moment. So I guess my question is, Kevin.
Yes.
What was your opinions about the movie?
You took the words out of my mouth. That was exactly how I felt that. Well, the part about it was like it was basically like Disney Channel the first half, and it was like it wasn't. I would say it was even more than that. When things started the action started really happening. It was like, okay, now. This is what I would have wanted to have seen. The rest of it you could have. And it's like, I'm coming in at the second movie, so a lot of this stuff they've, redone all these characters, and it's
right.
Just like, a lot of ways it's like, oh, that's Flash Thompson. It was far from the Spider-Man that I knew. And
I
that
get what
kinda-
you're going with that.
Yeah. Thanks.
Nothing wrong.
Yeah, I didn't care for the. It's like it's one thing to modernize and stuff like that, but it's like I just feel like it wasn't Spider-Man, and it's like he seems like he's too young for the rest of the Marvel universe. It's like he was brought in as a youth, and he's not where the rest of them. You know, he should be older. You know, and it just seems like they're keeping him young to appeal to a younger audience.
Right.
And like I said, it's the Disney Channel Spider-Man, and it's not the Peter Parker
Fair enough.
from the comics that I know, and so you know.
So,
Whatever you
but
want.
okay. So you mentioned that you after the action, after the story finally kicked in, did you enjoy yourself after that?
Yeah, that's what I say. Is like I was thinking word for word, like what you were saying about that portion. You know, the
All right, fair enough. As far as addressing the Disney Channel, first off, we all know that the girl that plays Mary Jane, unfortunately, I don't know her name, so right over there. She is totally Disney alumni. She was totally in some of those kids shows.
yeah.
For that portion of it, the youngness of it, as far as that goes, this Peter Parker is based more on the Ultimate Universe Peter Parker than it was the Marvel, the main Marvel continuity. But anyway, so that's it. I did enjoy the movie. I would recommend you guys see it, and I would recommend seeing it in the theater. It was an enjoyable time. There were just certain aspects in the movie that kind of irritated me just a little bit, but it didn't hurt the effect, or it didn't cause me to not recommend that movie. So there you go, 85 for that movie, and my schedule's open. This is the last movie that I really was looking forward for this summer, so I don't know what's coming out next, but I'll announce it later on. But again, that's it, guys. Spider-Man was definitely worth it. Go ahead and go see that. But other than that, I wish you guys peace. I'm going to say good night and see you later, and goodbye.